Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. It has been quite a while since I've made a video, but here we are several weeks later. Today is October 2nd, this will probably be published in the next few days, and a lot has happened in the last few weeks. All those major events, like the president getting coronavirus, the president's tax returns, we now know that he hasn't paid taxes, and a debrief of the debate, and some analysis on the very, very unfortunate death of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. May she rest in peace. That video will also be upcoming. But I want to get back to a region-by-region analysis of the presidential election. In upcoming videos, I'm also going to go over Senate races, and for the first time on this channel, I'm going to go into some of the House races. Alright, so as you can see here, all these states in yellow, it's kind of bright yellow, hard to see, all these states in yellow will be coming in an upcoming video. I've already done this video on the West. I'll be doing a video on the South and then the Northeast pretty soon. So I'm going to take these away. And let's get right into these states. I'm going to start with North Dakota. Even though, if you know about politics, you know that North Dakota is going Republican. It's a safe state. A lot of these states are obvious. However, I do want to use 538 for all of them just because, it's a good visual on where the polls are. So as you can see, even though these are D pollsters, even in these non-D pollsters, this is a safe Trump state. On to South Dakota. This is also a safe Trump state. This is also a D-rated pollster. However, South Dakota is not really competitive on the presidential level. I'm going to actually skip over Nebraska because Nebraska has its at-large 2 electoral votes and then 3 electoral votes, 1 per congressional district. I'm going to skip that and move on to Kansas. Kansas is one of the few states that, even though, so Kansas would be considered a pretty safe Trump state, except it's really narrowed up. I'm not going to trust these D pollsters. So last poll showed Trump up 10, Trump up 12. It's unclear how many Trump voters are going to vote for Barbara Bollier because the Senate race in Kansas is much, much closer than the presidential election. Even though here we see Trump up by about 9 points, I'm still going to rate this safe, just going off electoral history. Except Kansas is another interesting state. Kansas has a Democratic governor. So there is potential that Kansas will surprise us on Election Day, but I'm going to label it safe strictly because of its electoral history. Moving on to Missouri. So Missouri, even though Missouri and Kansas's numbers aren't too different, Missouri historically has kind of been a little bit of a swing state. It was closest in 2008 when I think John McCain carried it by a couple thousand votes, and it was close again in 2012. But it has trended Republican since that very close election in 2008. I am going to say that Missouri is a lean Republican state. You can see 6.6. A few months ago, Trump, I think, was up by that margin in states like Iowa. So, 6.6, I'm going to say that is not likely, but lean Republican. Moving on to Iowa. Iowa has trended, Yeah, so a little while ago, Trump was up by similar-ish numbers. He got up to 5.5%, but Iowa has gotten a lot closer. Um, Biden a few days ago was up. He's down again. Some new polls have come out. I think Iowa's going to be a toss-up, if I'm being honest. Iowa, a state that has been very close since 2000, went Democrat 2008, 2012, flipped in 2016. Flipped by one of the largest margins. I believe Trump won it by 9 points. But, yeah, Iowa, I think Iowa's going to be a toss-up on Election Day. Flip a coin. That may tell you the way Iowa's going to go. Moving on to Illinois. Illinois is not close. We only have one poll here, even though it's Biden plus 13. I think it'll be more. There are some interesting House races in Illinois, excuse me. Do not confuse Illinois and Indiana. But Illinois is a safe Democratic state on all levels. I know we have this one poll, or we have these, only shows Illinois Biden up by 13. It's kind of similar to Kansas, where it's closer than it is, but it's safe. Illinois did have the election of a Republican governor in 2018. They had some of the suburban Chicago House races be competitive in the last few years. And they have a few districts that I'll get into in my video about House districts that are competitive. Moving on to Minnesota. Now, Minnesota, I previously thought might flip Republican. Hillary Clinton only won it by about 1% or 40,000 votes in 2016. I thought, personally, for a while, Minnesota really was tightening up, got into the 5%, 4% range. Which with Trump, you have to assume he's going to outperform the polls because he did in 2016. It's looking a lot better for Joe Biden, now almost up by 10 in Minnesota. I'm not going to say this is safe, and I'm not going to say this is likely, but I am going to say this is lean. Scratch that. I'm going to say it's likely. Of the Midwestern states, Minnesota has reliably been Democratic. It's, I think, been Democrat the longest since 1972. Minnesota, I'm going to say it's likely. I'm sorry I changed my mind, but, he's, Biden's up by almost 10 points, and I don't know that the polls are going to tighten up until Election Day, so I'm going to say it's likely. Moving on to Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a state that was very close in the early months of this year, got better, kind of got worse for a little while, and has gotten better. Biden is now up by a solid 7%. He has done well in polls. I don't think there's been a single poll in the last little while that has given Trump an edge. I'm going to say this is a lean Democrat state. Moving on to Michigan. There's actually an interesting Senate race there, one that could be surprising. Michigan has always shown a pretty strong Biden lead. It has tightened up at points, but today, we have about a 7-point lead for the vice president. I'm going to rate this the same as I did Wisconsin, and it is going to be likely Democrat. Moving on to Indiana. Indiana, a state that has trended Republican since the election of 2008, where it narrowly went to the Democrats. This is safe Republican. Indiana is the home state of the vice president. And has been trending Republican ever since that 2008 election. Moving on to Ohio, the site of the disastrous disastrous presidential debate. This has been a really tight state. I have not, up until this point, given Biden the lead in any of my videos, except today I am going to give him a lean Democrat in Ohio. I think that Ohio is going to flip from 2016. In 2012, Barack Obama won the state by about 5-6 points. Trump won it by 7-8 points in 2016. I think it's going to flip back. I think it's going to be very close. I don't think Ohio will be called on election night. But I think that, the way the country's trending right now and the way the polls are showing, I think Joe Biden has a pretty, not decent shot. I would maybe say it's a toss-up, but I think he has a good chance at taking Ohio. Moving on to Pennsylvania. Another big electoral prize with its 20 electoral votes. Pennsylvania was kind of close. Lead got better. Now it's kind of stabilized or shrunk a little bit. Joe Biden is up by around 6 points. I'm going to give this the same rating as I did Michigan and Wisconsin. I don't think that Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania will vote differently. I don't think one will vote Republican, the others will go Democrat. I think they're all going to go one way or the other. My guess is that they're all going to go to Joe Biden. Now we come to our last state. As a reminder, I said that Iowa was going to be a toss-up. Moving on to Nebraska. Nebraska at, let's see if we have any, so we don't have any polls on the entire state, but it is going to go reliably Republican, maybe by 15 to 20 points. And there's also no polls in Nebraska's 3rd congressional district. I actually think this is the place that was the most Republican. It might have beaten out Wyoming, is either Wyoming or Nebraska's 3rd congressional district voted the most Republican in 2016. Nebraska's 1st congressional district, Trump up by 2. I think he's going to do a little better than 2. I'm going to say that this may surprise some of you. I'm not going to say that this is likely, but I'm going to say it is lean Republican. And then moving on to, I really do, the 1st district has never gone blue, I don't think. The 2nd district has. For Nebraska's 2nd district, it's pretty close. It's kind of a weird graph. It did go, I believe it went for Donald Trump in 2016. I'm going to say that it is not tilt, but it is lean Democrat. Alright, that is all for this video. To recap, as safe Republican states, we have North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska's at-large and 3rd congressional district, Kansas and Indiana. For lean Republican, we have Missouri and Nebraska's 1st congressional district. For the Democrats, a safe state in Illinois, a likely Democratic state in Minnesota, lean Democratic states in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and tilt Democrat in Ohio. So from this region, we have the Democrats getting 95 and the Republicans getting 37. This concludes this video. To this point, Iowa, toss-up. To this point, I have made a West Coast video and Midwest video. I'll be making a very short one about the Northeast, and then another one about the South. Alright, that is all for this video.